Another day. Well, here we go. This is Tales from the Mean Streets with Uncle D here. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm D. Gordon Franks. More about that later. But I write a little bit. And the things I write about that have transpired in my life. And so, it's got a modicum of a lie in it somewhere, but everybody, but nothing of any facts or anything. A lot about facts. Incidentally, if you hear the music, I don't have any rights to the music, it's just in the background. Hopefully you can't hear it, and I can. What channel is this? Let me see. I can capture it. Let's see if I can send it out now. Copy. Oh, let me see if I can call somebody. Still. Let me try and ship it out. You know what? No, I'm not going to try to do that. What I'll do is get down to these tales from the mean streets. A little background about me. I'm 76. I'm happy. I'm content. I'm not mad at anybody. I don't hate any man. No, not even Donald Trump. I don't like him, but I don't hate him. In any event, there's some new things out here, and it's Kindle Vella. And instead of a book, you write episodes. And I have some episodes, if I can ever get them up here. Let's see here. And what I want to do is share a few with you. Oh my goodness, it's taking forever to load, but hey, I should have been up on this now. Let's see here. I want ascending order instead of descending order. This is entitled What the Monkey Saw. Now, how do I... All right, I got that. Now let's see if I can get here. See if I can send this. Oh, what are you trying to tell me? Dismiss. Lord have mercy. All right. James Mackenstein. Hey, man. Hey, man, let me go back to where I was, but I wasn't there. Okay, I don't want to be here. I want to be back to the story about what the monkey saw. And this, based on a true story, and let me tell you about it. This was about, I'm going to say, 1977 or so. And so let me begin. It's time to set the record straight. I tell tales, some big and some small. And these tales are from the streets. And all streets ain't pretty, but that's the way of the world, ain't it? There's drama, chaos, danger, humor, despair, sex, drugs, rock and roll, and even death lurking on the highways and byways. To paraphrase Frank Sinatra, regrets I've had again, but then again, too many to mention. Life's been good to me, and yeah, it's been wonderful to me. You know, sometimes things get rocky from time to time, and I pitted myself against my worst enemy, myself. And that's been a hard battle that I had to wage from time to time. And I saw a meme on Facebook one time that asked a message, what would you send to your 18-year-old self? Using only 4 words. That was easy peasy. Don't mess with drugs. Yeah. See, in the late 1960s, I smoked my first joint. I was a freshman in college. And I drifted in to sell the little weed so I could get high for free. Oh, sure, me and my boys had drunk plenty of wine as teens, but for us, people that smoked weed didn't do it in front of us. To them, we was kids and we stayed in our lanes. Until college, I'd never even been around anyone smoking a joint and didn't even know what it smelled like. And then after weed, my next stop was blow. Now the blow was for them that called themselves down and around. My first blow, I don't even know what it was all about. Having a toot or some girl, that was the shit. Players went around with diamond encrusted cold spoons around their neck, especially for coke. The bigger the player, the bigger the spoon. I was living in my first apartment in the big city and connected with like-minded fellows such as myself. We was hip in the age of the flower child and black power, awakening to a new vanguard from black political perspectives. My generation's experiences were known to all that came before us. This was the time of Huey P. Newton, H. Rap Brown, Eldridge Cleaver, the Panthers, Angela Davis, like folks like that. Riding changes was happening all over the world. We was hip and not only embraced rock and roll, we dug jazz too. Motown was the sound of home and it would be booming in Detroit. I'd had a couple of snorts of cocaine before, but it was too expensive for me to participate as the blow choice. I didn't mind, but it happened to be set right out in front of me. Try it out. We call them sets. Now, you sit around, you listen to jazz, you're smoking away, sniffing that cocaine through $100 bills. And we all knew he was cool and slicker than snot. In any event, I was eventually offered a blow of something completely different. My coolness wouldn't let me say that I had not partaken of what this was. I never had any of this new thing, so I takes me a sniff or two, and minutes later, I immediately threw up. Having completed that for a task, I was sat listening to jazz while I was swathed in a feeling of euphoria that I had never experienced before. Again for that matter. As the saying goes, one time is too many and 1,000 is not enough. Boy, oh boy, that's the truth. So, upon hearing my telling others of my newly found discovery, they laughed at me. It appears that this thing I was touting was nothing more than plain old boy or smack. It made sense since Coke was girl and boy was the hard one. I've heard of it before, but had no real concept or knowledge of the effects or detriments. Noticing this illicit thing, surrounding this illicit thing, I didn't know. Too late, I was about to find out what time it really was, but that's getting ahead of the tail here. All the cool ones were having to blow every now and then, but the smartest refused to partake of the devil's brew. Boy, but what did they know? As with weed, it was only a short jump from buying to selling a little so I could get high for free. Then I went to the rice paddies of Vietnam. Uh, Saw Bob Hope and Johnny Minute. Even Miss Black America came over there. The first one came over there to entertain us. And it was there I found out what real blow was. Years later, like I say, mid-70s, 77 or so, my pal Scooby-Doo, that was my nigga there. He calls me to inform me that he had closed up Billy McNasty's after-hour joint by drinking them all the whiskey and that McNasty had on hand. And Billy locked the place up, taking a bunch of folks with him to the black room to steal his joint. And a half dozen so people were still on the set, and they was getting low on cognac. Scooby wanted to know if I had a fifth or two laying around. I told him, yeah. And he tells me to bring a fifth. And then he enticed me. And he met us a bunch of girls in there from the after hours joint, sitting around indulging in blow. And there could be some work there. Now, by the hoarseness of his voice, I could tell, and the sounds of music and unintelligible background noise, I knew it was on and popping. While he coaxes me out the door, I grab that VSOP fifth on, on the way back out. Back then, a fifth was still a fifth and not that 750 crap they got today. I hopped in my ride and off to work I went. I rolled up to the spot on 16th Street across from Rock Creek Park. I parked in the back, waving at a familiar Fleetwood, leaving me a spot to park my triple blue sedan in. Banging on the door, I was finally gained interest just as another pal was leaving the mini mansion. Karen Sue, Scooby's bottom, told me they was in the back. I made it to the so-called black room in all its blackness, from the furniture and rugs to the walls, the lamps and drapes, everything. My pal Scooby, he used to drink that Hennessy all the time, and he got the bright idea he wanted to paint this room where we hung out at. And the only color he had was black, so he started painting the room black, and everything ended up black. The bar was black. It was black. And then I turned him on to the Rolling Stones, painted black, done by the Soulful Strings. And from then on, it was the black room. It was our spot. It was a great big old joint, but that was our spot, We'd be back there blowing, drinking, playing Pong. First video game ever that I played was Pong. It had two paddles and it was like ping pong. Yeah. Oh, let me see here. Okay, no. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. Let's see. Well, anyway, anyhow, I fall through the door and check out the women in the room. Now, there ain't but two lonely soldiers left. Now, from what I saw, it wasn't worth me wasting my time because they wasn't my flavor. I ignored them, except I did know that one had on a pink tie-dye top that didn't look too bad, but something was wrong with her. I just couldn't quite put my finger on it. So we sitting there having a drink of the VSOP, and Billy McNasty tells me what happens. It appeared that Scooby let his dogs out the room they was in, and it was their house. He let them out from where he was, and he didn't come home, and he had 5 poodles, toy and miniatures, and they was they excited to see him and whatnot. And one of the dogs got mad and wanted him to put the dogs up. And they had a few words and whatnot. I told him, this the dog's home. I don't know. Like I said, this happened before I get there. So, McNasty said that there was an argument, and before he knew it, Scooby had tapped the dame upside her head with a pistol. Now, I'd already seen the old double action 22 on the Western frame. It was usually kept behind the bar out of sight, but within easy reach if you knew where it was. I reckon old Scooby did that to get her attention. He was kind of blunt like that. Turns out the tie-dye blouse, it had started out white. It had been rinsed to get the blood out, which made it the shades of pink. Now, after rinsing the blouse as best she could, she put it back on. Now, I thought it was a good thing she was wearing a wig, and helped cushion the blows. I looked at Billy, and he looked at me. We both doing the same thing. We shrugged it. I knew his meaning. If the pistol wasn't exactly pointed at him, he wasn't about to get in the way. I couldn't find any fault with his logic, and I suspected that Billy was packing a pistol as well. I would have been shocked to find out if he wasn't. The women were completely subdued, yet you could sense they really didn't want to be there. But they were riding with McNasty, and he wasn't ready to go yet, especially since I had shown up. He might be able to sell me some blow. He flashed his blow to me. I took a snort or two. I was wishing that he would go, take them with him, and lead the blow. It was wild yet normal. A blow seller, 2 women, 1 slightly damaged, at least 3 pistols, some VSOP, some blow, 2 pals. Everybody was high. Drop in the mix, 5 poodles running around, and a monkey. I was hoping that the dog seen me. I knew they was looking for my dog Sabu, but he wasn't with me. I left him at home. And the monkey was named Pepe Le Pew. Facing his cage, he wanted out as well. And he was ornery, and if he couldn't intimidate, he would gladly smear monkey poop all over you. And if you ain't smelled monkey poop, Lord, you ain't got a clue. That is some of the stages of the stank. There's way too much going on for him to make his appearance. Eventually, McNasty departed with the women, and Scooby and I continued drinking, blowing and joking about the time. We came up with the idea of putting McNasty in the monkey cage. The cage was a little less than 5 feet high, and he would not have been able to fully stand up. We joked, but we knew that if Billy said anything or did anything wrong, he just might have been in that cage for real. Big John and McNasty was pals. A few years earlier, we had gotten into a beef with Big John and tried to do him in. A couple of days later, Scooby called and told me that the police had been by twice, knocking on his door. He figured it was time to get in traffic and vacate the premises, and I agreed. But I had to laugh when he asked me if I wanted to move in and take over the joint. I immediately thought about the overhead, which was more than I wanted to spend. Besides that, way too much of a crib. And it was hot as fish grease because of the tie-dye blouse woman. I told Scooby he couldn't pay to have me move in there. And this came about. My pal, Jimmy Fortune, and I were laughing about this the other night. And I thought I'd share an introduction to some of our crew. It was wild and nasty back in the day. D.C., our chocolate city, became known as Dodge City, and Jimmy reminded me. There were crews, and we was the wild bunch. D.C. was a strong runner-up to Manhattan and nearly as fast. People that stumbled found out it was just like New York, except for the tall buildings. To be real, half-stepping was not allowed. Hey, do me a favor. Take a ride up 16th Street and tell me if you see a stately Vietnamese building there. It'll be on your right going north. And that's where the black room is at. Let me know if it's still there. And that is entitled What the Monkey Saw. Yep. That's what it is. So, nobody is on but me. Cool. I learned how this goes. So that took about 21 seconds. And you go to Kindle Vella, KINDLE VELLA. If you have Prime, you can read this stuff. It costs now. You got to be big baller to read this stuff. Can't give it away. It costs about less than less than a dime to read an episode. I've got about 50 episodes. And like I say, Scooby and real guy, Billy McNasty, real guy. We never did put McNasty in the cage, but yeah. Let me see if I can call Fortune and read to him. All right. There we go. What's happening with you?
Please. I just woke up. Really.
Oh, okay. Hey, I need your help, man.
What's up? Wait a minute. Let me shut the TV down.
Yeah.
The largest private collection of African American art and artifacts in museum reviews. The Kinsey collection documents the Black experience in America.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, I gotta pull it up first. I wanna remember that those episodes that I started writing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm online right now. I want to read it, but I ain't got nobody to read it to. So you want to be my guinea pig?
You hate me a lot now.
All right, hang on a minute. I just read the story about Billy McKnight and the girls getting tapped in the head. That was entitled What the Monkey Saw. This is entitled The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Ugly?
Yeah.
All right. That's sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me see here. Now, the streets were a dangerous place to be plying trade. One could lose their life at any given moment, at any given time, for little or no reasons. The names have been changed to protect the guilty. Gentrification hit D.C. with a vengeance. I got into one of the new condominiums down on the Blade. My spot was where you could come, relax, have a blow and a drink, and still be plugged in right into the streets. It was a veritable oasis for my friends. One evening, my doorbell rang. I go to the door, and there stood Bobby Sweets from Memphis. Not any man, he quickly got to the point. He wanted to borrow a pistol. I knew that in time one couldn't wait to go all the way home or go purchase one because someone was getting ready to jump off then and there. And everybody knew that I kept a firearm or two at the ready. I quickly gave him what he was looking for, but after handing him the Roscoe, I casually asked who he was having the beef with. When he told me it was Cool Breeze, my jaw fell to the floor. I couldn't get the pistol back even as I pleaded with speech. The problem was that I was cool with both of them. And it wasn't, I didn't want to be in their beef like that because I had provided one of the guns being used against the other, and Sweets was pulling away. I jumped in his car with him, and he was going for Breeze, and I was alarmed trying to talk him out of the confrontation. We headed down 14th Street and banged the left on N Street, ended up at Eden Towers, where a gang of our old pals had apartments. We parked and bailed out and went down the alley heading towards 13th Street. Midway through the alley, I see Breeze's unique walk coming in our direction. Both guys do beads on each other. I began shouting, trying to stop the inevitable chaos that was about to ensue. I hollered that whoever shot first, I was going to plug him. I had a reputation of being a good shot. You got two types of people in the world. You got pistol toters and you got pistol shooters. Having been known to have shot several people, there was no question that I had a policy of not only displaying a gun, I was known to have fired some. On top of that, most people knew that I had been to Vietnam, and they viewed me as a little cray-cray from the giddy up. And once I had a few drinks and some blow, it got amplified. I'd gladly share that I could shoot better drunk than sober. Now, the three of us is armed, and me not knowing who I was going to have to shoot. Whoever fired first was going to be my target. And there was people on the balconies watching us. They was egging them on. They wanted to see some excitement. But this was a dangerous situation. Watching us, and they egging them on, and they wanted to see it, some blood. And I'm tangled up in it. And I was finally able to get them to lower their weapons. I kept mine out and ready just in case. I was finally able to broker a truce, and we went back to my place to have a blow and put the finishing touches on their non-aggression pact. They both thanked me, but it was my fault they had almost had to shoot out from the first place. From then on, I was making a point to find out who my tools were being used against before I let them out. Such was the way of being a part of the Wild Bunch back in D.C. in the 70s. Now, if you're reading this now that's the good, the bad, and the ugly, and these are the author notes. So if you're reading this and you want to know the best way to beat drugs, is to not indulge at all. Just like in Vegas, the deck is stacked against you. As in Vegas, there are a few lucky ones that wins, but they are exceedingly rare. I vowed to be a part of the winner, and every blow I had took me further away from where I wanted to be. And that's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, this is on YouTube, man. But I don't know, shit, I can't figure out how to get the thing to somebody.
You can't figure out how to what?
I captured it. I can give you the address. It's at kdpamazon.com, Kindle Valley Story Details, TX, blah, 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 all of that. But I don't know how to get it, so you can see it. But you can hear it, so that's good enough.
All right.
Yeah, give me somebody to read to. Okay, going back to descending order. And this is number 3. And you mind me introducing you, man? Hey.
I'm listening.
I said, do you mind if I introduce you?
Say that again.
Do you mind if I introduce you to who I'm talking to?
No.
Oh, okay. You don't mind?
No. Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to you.
Oh, all right.
All right. Anyway, this is Jimmy Fortune we got here. Uncle Jimmy here. Yeah, and see, the thing about it, a lot of this stuff that I write about, he was there. He was an eye. He was part of the crew. Yep. Now, this is called How Neptune Got Sunk. Now, one of the pals that I met crisscross in North America was Neptune, and we were both working on the East Coast. We both had crews working simultaneously in D.C., Atlantic City, and New York, and we often met up on the tracks on the various cities. We kicked it, occasionally comparing notes and bits and pieces of goings on around the country. Now, this was before the internet, and this is how we stayed connected. It was a small, diverse group, and if you knew the right people, you were plugged in all over the United States and Canada too. Neptune often tooled around. He had one of the few Rolls Royces in New York at the time. It was a cream-colored Corniche convertible, and he rolled around with the top down. It was beautiful to see gliding down avenues. And one night we rolled along down 10th Avenue side by side, and we hit a puddle. And my big old Fleetwood splashed water all inside that Corniche, and the top wasn't even down. He pulled over, cussing up a storm. He went to the trunk and retrieved some cloths to sop up all the water in his whip. He turned down my offer of help. No thing. I continued bending a few more corners with one less pal to compete with, if only for a moment or two. Now, this night I'm down on the track, and I'm, was more full than usual. Plenty of hoes was working. I was kicking it with my pal Slimy. Slimy out of New York. So we ran into Neptune. Slimy asked Neptune how his new girl, Punk Rock, was holding up. Now, it was a legit question. And real game dictates that you don't lie. I swear you're getting paid. Now, Punk Rock was a little blonde that used to be with Prince Davis. Prince Davis had tagged her with the name Punk Rock. And it fit her. She had spiked blonde hair with red and blue and green and some more colors and whatnot. And I met her in D.C., like I say, when she was with Prince. And her and one of my folks, Sandy, was pals. And they occasionally worked together. Everybody knew who Punk Rock was. For Slimy to ask the question was a way of his probing Neptune's game to see how sharp it was. It was up to Neptune to how he would respond. Unfortunately, he chose not to handle it as best he could. There were ways to answer Slimy: ignoring, respond with a quip about how big money maker she was, and plenty of other answers. Instead, Neptune chose to take offense at Slimy calling her Punk Rock. Neptune had given her some other name, but everybody knew her as Punk Rock. Wow, Slimy and I looked at each other In amazement, we both knew that Neptune should have had a better response than that. And Slimy, smelling a little blood in the water, began roasting him. They commenced landing bribes on me as the match became a little heated. Others gathered to hear the battle of the two peers. Slimy was a master at talking smack and roasting using common sense. He kept uh, folks, and I lost my place here.
All right.
Hang on here. Okay. Okay. Slimy was a master at the art of talking smack and roasting using comedy. He kept somebody laughing at the way he told the truth. And that's one of the reasons I like Slime Dog. It ended up in a gentlemanly fashion, with Slimy way ahead in the opinion of those within earshot. Each combatant went their separate ways. Slimy and I compared notes, and we both found Neptune's game lacking a little bit. Not that he wasn't a top flight kind of guy, but if he let a man upset him about what name to call a name of his, well, that was just surprising. It's known a girl might change her name wherever she went. We only kept up with them by who they was when we noticed them. I saw Neptune the next night down on the blade. He was in jeans and sneakers. I ain't never seen him in no jeans and sneakers. The blade was, work for us. We usually stayed suited and booted. New York City being, the mecca for clothes on the custom side, that was paradise. And it was a norm that people broke at will, depending on how they felt. I ran into Slimy there, and he asked me if I had seen Neptune. I knew he had also, and we concluded that Neptune was ready to fight. Yep. He was dressed for battle. We shook our heads because we knew it wasn't that serious. It was like being down in the hood talking smack, and you get out top, now you want to fight. Neither of us could see the logic of that move. Neptune lost a few more points in the standing with us, but hey, by the same token, it showed that even though he drove Rolls Royce, he was not above his willingness to mix it up on the physical side, if that's what the hand called for. So now, Neptune and I, we would see each other occasionally, and I changed my home base from New York to other parts of the world. I was all up and down the East Coast, and the right coast, as we call it. Left coast being out west, in Vegas. The last time I saw him was in Boston in the early 90s. Before we both drank OJ back then. Yeah, I was in New York living. And I asked him about the Corniche. I ran into him in Dallas. And we talked on the phone. I asked him about the Corniche. He said he was still parked in his front yard. He asked me if I still had my 57 Fleetwood. And I explained that I had let it go in 2014. We kicked it. Of course, I had to ask about punk rock. He claimed to not have seen her in years. I told him that I had run into her in Philly back in the 90s, and I figured we'd see each other since Dallas was work for both of us now. Turns out he was a native of Dallas. A few weeks later, I saw the video on the news. Neptune was hard at work down on the blade. He had cruised up on a couple of dames, and one of them was giving him some action. But her wife-in-law came along and pulled her away, and after a few harsh words directed at Neptune, they split. Now, she didn't know who she was dealing with, and he had a few choice words for her in return. The conflict escalated. Now, he's sitting in his car. The dame pulled out some kind of mace or paper spray and sprayed him. While he's sitting in the car, he jumps out the car and he commits to whoop our ass. And then all of a sudden, a pickup truck and a car pull up, And the dude in the pickup truck opens fire and shoots him. And Neptune, he drove off, and when he crashed a few blocks away, and the pilot was able to speak to him, he told me, he got to Neptune in the car, telling him to hold on since the ambulance was on its way. The guy told me that he held Neptune's hand, telling him to hold on since there was more holes that he had to break. He said Neptune smiled, and he died a few moments later. I never did have any funeral arrangements, and to this day the killer remains unknown and free. I heard that years earlier Neptune had engaged in some kind of fisticuffs in Dallas. This led to some pistol play, and two of his adversaries had turned up dead. It was said one of the guys got smoked as he was leaving his mother's house. Two more unsolicited homicides. And so the beat goes on. That sure was a nice looking corniche that Neptune had. All right, man, let me turn this off. And
That took place in Boston?
no, it took place down here.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I just come down here. Hang on, will you hang on just a minute? Yeah. Thank you. You there? Yo.
I'm here.
All right. But yeah, man, I had just come to Texas and had hooked up with him. We had talked on the phone, and yes, you need something?
I was looking for Dusky.
You see? Yeah, I thought so. Anyway, we had talked, we were going to get together and have a drink. And before we could do that, man, he was dead. And they had it on a security camera. Yeah. Yeah. All right, man, I'm gonna get off of this here thing and see how the hell I can. I'm gonna leave it on. I'm gonna see. Yeah.
I broke my sternum, man. I fractured.
Wow.
Yeah, they sent me yesterday for
Yeah.
and it showed up.
Wow.
Yeah. appointment tomorrow at 11:30.
Huh.
I'll get back to you.
Okay.
Yeah. And whatever it is, it's broke. So the only thing you can do is mint. I don't know what they got to do. It's that bone around your collar.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh. Oh, what's that? Oh.
Yeah, man.
Mm-mm-mm. Well, I'm here if you need me.
All right. What
Yeah.
a difference a day, man.
That is.
All right. I'm here.
All right. In a minute.
All right. Cool.
Oh. So I just sent this link.
Try to send it to me?
Huh?
You sending it to me?
Let me see if I can. Let me see if you're on this page. Hang on. Let me see here. Contacts. Tune. Uncle Jimmy here. Trey. Nope. No. Let's see here. No. Brenda, but no Jimmy. Fuck. Huh. Oh, well. I know I'll try and do it this way. Yeah, I'm going to post it there and tell somebody, hey, please tell me if this is working. Hmm. Oh, let me see. There's old Lamont. That's here. Paste. Paste. All right, Jimmy, let me see if I can get Lamont. All right.
Yeah, get your head together. I'm on.
All right. Hey. Two. This can't be the right number. So let me go in here and oh, I know what what number I can call him on. Let's see, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, wow. Hmm. There. Let's see. Here we go. Bet. Bet. Call you back. Because you're going to sleep. I don't blame you. 3 o'clock in the morning. No. Well, yeah, it's 3 to you. And that's the number I call. Okay, I did call. Okay, I called the right number. All right. Now, let's see here. Let's see who's talking to me. Oh, King G, the governor, mentioned me in a comment. Let's see what the king has got to say. Please do. Oh, listen to this. Okay. This is from King G Gov, the governor. And I had said he deletes, he likes to delete comments, you know. Him and his brother, they'll say some outrageous shit and then delete it and then try to deny they say it. But you can't delete nothing on Facebook. So yeah, I'm getting ready to sue him for slander and libel. I'm the police. Okay. Yep. 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 Okay. Yes. Yes. I'm suing you for slander and libel. Yeah. Oh, where did you go that quick? Lord have mercy. You got something to say? All comments. Let's see what you got to say, cocksucker. Huh. Yep. Gordon D. Frankie Page is your baby. Yep. Now, here's what I can't make this up. Now, these are some black Trump supporters, and they're mad because I disparaged Donald Trump, so they got mad. And they decided to make up a lie that they had used against somebody else. The problem was that somebody else that they used against, some guy named Kiko, it had him all messed up because nobody knew who this guy was. And they made up stories that he was the police. And then they said he was gay and he was a snitch. Just. And if people don't know you, they don't know what to believe. It's on the internet. So